Hi everyone, welcome. Thank you so much for choosing to be here with me today. Welcome back if you've been here before, and welcome if you're new here. Today we're talking about praising the actions we take, not necessarily the results that we get from those actions or the outcomes. Now, this doesn't mean you shouldn't have results you want, you shouldn't be working for something, you shouldn't whatever, right? But we want to shift some of putting all our energy into saying, I'll only feel proud of myself or like I did something if I get this certain outcome versus like, how can I praise myself along the way and focus on what I have done, what I am doing, and how much amazingness I'm doing to do all of that, right? So where does this come from? Most of us, not all of us, being in a capitalistic society with our status and what we have and what we've done and this title and this name and this thing and this that, right? So we get that message and that programming of we're taught to associate like our success and our worth with the end result, right? This is what I got, this is what I did, this is what I accomplished, right? Instead of like the process to get there, because it's not just the process that's helpful for us, it's what we learn along the way, how we're challenged, the confidence we build, the endurance we build, right? These things we have to work through and develop our character with as we're working on our way to achieve something. So most of us are taught that the end result, once I get that thing, right, then that's what counts in terms of I made it, I did it, this is what's important for me to, show that I have some success in these types of things, right? So the first shift is moving away like from that's important and we can celebrate that and be proud of ourselves, right? But it's also just as important of the actions you take to get there, what you've put in for yourself, the character traits you develop along the way, the self-discipline and self-commitment it took to keep doing something, right? And so just doing something for the sake of doing it is important, right? It might not be rewarded in society in that way. You might not get the award you want or the, recognition or the whatever, right? But recognizing that a success and doing something for the sake of doing it and being disciplined and showing up and challenging ourselves and growing in that way is just as important as not as the end results or the outcome. And so this is important for two reasons. Number one is when you focus on praising the action, on congratulating yourself for showing up, on continuing to have the discipline to keep going, especially if you aren't seeing the results you want or the outcome you want. So the first reason why this is helpful is first of all, it's going to encourage you to keep going. Okay, right? If we only praised ourselves when we got the outcome we wanted or got the result we wanted or got the whatever, that wouldn't be very motivating for us, right? That would feel like, okay, well, I did this thing today and I didn't get the results I want, so why would I keep going, right? But instead, if we can turn inward and be like, I showed up today, I did this thing, I don't know what it's going to turn out into, I don't know what it's going to whatever, right? But I showed up for myself and I did this thing and I'm proud of myself in that way, right? So encouraging ourselves to keep going. Um, it's helpful, of course, okay? And then this also in turn increases our self-esteem, it increases our self-efficacy, it increases our belief in ourselves, it increases the fact that, you know what, I'm committed to myself, and even if this outcome never happens, or even if I never get there, or whatever, right? I know I can still show up for myself and I can keep going and I can trust in myself that I'm a person of integrity, of commitment, and I do these things that I say I'm committed to and that I want to do for myself. And so it can also encourage you to keep going by increasing your self-esteem, by showing to yourself, looking back like, wow, I've been doing this particular thing for 6 months, for a year, for 2 years. Like, that's amazing. I'm so proud of myself that I'm committed to this thing, that I have made a choice in my life to show up and do this, even when there, aren't the results or the outcome I want. And so obviously all of these things feel great, like I said, when you do get the outcome you want, but it's just as important to praise that behavior and recognize like, okay, even if I never get the outcome I want, like I'm so proud of myself for showing up, for doing it, for again, showing myself I can do hard things, I can commit to something, I can live with integrity, I can do what I say I'm going to do, all of that, right? I can go through the journey of completing something on my own or on the way towards something. And so the second reason why this is helpful to focus on praising the action and not the results, or it will say in addition to the results, right? Not not just the results, but part of why that's also helpful is no matter how well we do whatever we're doing, no matter how much we follow the rules, no matter how much we say, okay, I did this 10 times a day for 3 years, so I should have this particular outcome, or, I've been doing this thing for this amount of time for whatever, right? Even if we follow the rules, have our best intentions, never miss a day, never whatever, right? We still can't control the outcome and we can't control if and when the results come. Now, that's not to scare anyone or make you feel whatever, right? But it's true. There's just a lot of things in life that most things in life we don't have control over the outcome. We just a lot of them go through pretty easily, so it's easy for us to be like, okay, I did this thing, so I got the outcome I wanted. That's why it's working, right? But for because we're not in charge of when, how the unfolding, right? A lot of those things are out of our control. It can be easy for us to get frustrated and just be like, well, I'm not seeing the result I wanted, so why would I keep doing this, right? I've worked out every day for a year and I don't have the muscle definition I want. Or, I've been running every day for 6 months and I still can't run over 3 miles. Or, I made this piece of art, but I didn't get to put it in a gallery yet. Or I've been in school for this long and I didn't whatever, right? Or I've been applying to 40,000 jobs and I still don't get a job yet, right? Like we can't control if and when we get the outcome, but we are in control of how we show up, the time and effort we put in, the things we try to do, the ways we want to try to make things happen, right? And so this is again not to discourage you from trying to take action to have a certain outcome to whatever, right? This is just a reminder that just what we do along the way and how we show up for ourselves and the way that we're trying to find a solution is just as important as focusing on the outcome. Because again, while you're working on that, you might be open to a new path or a new way or something you didn't anticipate before. And if you do that, that can open you up to something that you didn't even think was like, "Oh, I didn't even know it was possible for me," or "I didn't know it could unfold this way," or "I didn't know that this was a plan that was going on that's better for me than the one that I was looking at like this," right? So when we focus on praising the actions and congratulating ourselves for doing that and showing up for that, right? We can kind of take some of that pressure off of ourselves also of just like, I'm not going to be happy until I get this particular outcome or until I want this specific thing to happen, right? And like, again, some things in our life we can be working for 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years, right? Some things can take time to happen, usually longer than we want, right? Most of us want instant gratification. We want things right away. And so just trusting that those things do add up and they will give you some kind of result, whether it's physical or the actual outcome you wanted or some internal shift or process inside. And that's just as worth it as like praising the outcome of what you've done. And so again, when you focus on praising the action, you're building that self-worth, you're seeing yourself, you're recognizing yourself, you're trusting, okay, I do have the ability to accomplish something because I'm just showing up and doing it, even if there isn't this tangible result at the end or the recognition or the, whatever I'm telling myself I need in order to make it happen. And it's a great way to hold space for yourself, to feel seen, to really honor what we do in our day-to-day lives that can sometimes, again, get glossed over, we don't recognize, or we don't hold as important or valuable because it's not held by society in that same regard as like, the final outcome or the tangible product or the whatever, the result that we want along the way. And then the last point I want to make about this is remembering and understanding that continuing to take action to praise yourself, to continue to show up and try to work towards what you want, especially when you haven't gotten the results that you're working towards, that's amazing. That takes so much inner strength and discipline and faith in yourself and faith in whatever higher power you have or the universe or whatever in life and how things orchestrate and move together. That takes so much faith to continue to show up for yourself and keep going and keep trying to make something happen when you have no, evidence or proof to be motivating yourself with that, right? It's like the saying, like, walk by faith and not by sight. And just having faith that, like, okay, if I keep showing up, like something's going to happen eventually. And especially if something hasn't happened, I'm still so proud of myself and I hold so much space for myself. And I'm so grateful and proud of myself for the ways that I've continued to try to make something happen, to figure something out, to keep going over and over and over again, even and especially when I don't have the specific results that would continue to be motivating for me in that way, right? So if you can be disciplined and if you can be clear and if you can say, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to try to get there eventually in some way, shape, or form, even if I don't have the outcome I want. Like that is true strength. And that is trust in yourself and having faith in yourself and having confidence and self efficacy that you will get there. You will make something happen eventually with that. So just even being proud of yourself for if you don't have the outcome or the results that you want, if you continue to keep going, that's something to be so proud of yourself and something that's so amazing also, because it's really easy to be like, well, I didn't get the results I wanted, so I'm just going to stop, right? And it takes a lot of strength and commitment to yourself to continue to keep moving forward in order to, um, get to where you want to keep going, even if you don't have any evidence, or support or reinforcement or reminders that you will get there eventually. Yeah, that's everything I have for you. Thank you so much for choosing to be here with me today. If you want any more information about me, all that is linked below. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful day.